Studio Ghibli, one of the most beloved and iconic studio animation studios out there. And recently the film Eerie and Heritage came out, and then I finished a review of that movie, and now that I have seen all the movies, I figured now would be finally the perfect time to do based on I've been excited to do it so long, and that is to rank all of their movies. Of course, if I can feel this film is just my personal but like this is probably the hardest ranking I think I've ever done on this channel, honestly. Like a lot of them I give my highest, a lot of them I consider my favorites of all time, so this was definitely wasn't the easiest, so if your favorite really is low on my list, just know that, again, there's less a lot than easy, just a heads up. But I still hope you all enjoyed the ranking. Feel let me know how would you rank all Ghibli movies down below. I am still one of the most similar views here, and here is my ranking of all 22 Studio Ghibli movies. Unfortunately, coming in dead last, and this movie I still don't hate on, so like even my least favorite Ghibli movie is still actually is just decent at best. But last place is their most recent movie, Earwig and the Head Witch. Earwig and the Witch. Yeah, it is easy in that my. It took me a while to think it wasn't his favorite, but I think about it, like it's I still don't think it's that bad, honestly. It's almost just decent fun at best. It's probably just like a little just experiment gone wrong, because again this is the first foray into 3D animation, and it doesn't really feel like the best. Like, it's got some charm in Ghibli movies, but doesn't have the same charm and magic in Ghibli's movies. Doesn't really have the true magic and the true emotion that comes with these movies. Here's one that mentioned Earwig's pretty much a very unlikable character, doesn't really have much either. There's not really much I can honestly say about this film, honestly, but since the weakest from just being a forgettable, decent movie, definitely just screams how amazing this studio is. And now coming in number 21, we have what was my least favorite movie before, Eerie and Head Witch, and that was Tale from Earthsea, which is also done by the son of Hayao Miyazaki, who also did Earwig and the Head Witch, and another film we discussed later on the list. There's so much, again, and this was my least favorite for a while before Earwig, but this film is just solid at best, honestly. It's a film that really has a very confusing story and narrative, but it just has a weird charm to it and makes it interesting and fascinating to watch. And it definitely was that when I saw it, and it still is. Definitely not my one thing I'll come back to, but it's still an interesting experiment as well. It definitely has some interesting ideas that just won't execute the best. And now coming in number 20, I'm not just going to pause on that because I know some people really do love this movie, and while I still think it's great, there's definitely a few problems that do hold back for me, and that is The Cat Returns. I think the only thing that kind of holds The Cat Returns back for me is really the character, some lacking character development and a real emotional gut punch in the ending. That's really kind of what holds this film back for me. But no, this film is just very wholesome and sweet movie, which just what you expect from Ghibli, with very great messages, very still interesting, relatable characters, beautiful, breathtaking animation, really hilarious moments, and a very interesting concept that they really do take full advantage here. I don't think it really hits the mark in terms of emotions, but it's definitely one that's still worth checking out. And now coming in number 19, we have Ponyo. And that definitely was great, but definitely has some few problems that do hold it back for me. One of those obviously being that I think it can get pretty heavy-handed, some of his messaging at times, and all that. I feel like get pretty too far what we're trying to go for. But the film is definitely not a wholesome movie with a very fascinating, interesting story, a great concept. I think, and they do take full advantage of it. I think that they really heavy-handed a bit too much with the messaging and what they're going for. But otherwise, this film is still a lovely watch. It's definitely one I still recommend. Great characters, great moments, some moments that really do hit in, or as much as most of the movies, and a fantastic, and of course the usual amazing animation, great writing. I'm probably saying the same stuff I say in all these movies, though, but I mean, it's Ghibli. I mean, come on. Now number 18. And number 18, we have Ocean Waves. for either in a way, this was probably Studio Ghibili's choice movie. That's because it was more made for TV movie. And the runtime was really kind of hurts the movie a bit for me. Because I feel like it was definitely like the longest film probably would be like in top 10 honestly. Because it definitely has a lot of pretty emotional and gut punching moments. A very relatable love story here. But in that short amount of time, doesn't really give a lot. Does characters some as much development as it needs honestly. Because it can kind of hurt some areas honestly. But despite that, Ocean Waves is still a great movie that you still definitely should watch. Now, at number 17, we have the other film from High Music is Stone, and number 17 that is From Up on Poppy Hill. The film that I was originally super high on, and while I still think it's a great movie, it did kind of lessen its impact on peak viewings, honestly. I'm not sure what it is, because it is definitely another relatable movie with a very interesting premise. I think they work pretty well on. Because the characters aren't really as compelling developed as previous Ghibli movies. It doesn't really hit the same emotions that Martha does for it, but it's definitely still a very wholesome movie, some very good messages, some beautiful animation, pretty funny moments, great interactions, great character interactions. It just doesn't want to just hit as well as it should, and that's really just why it's number 17 here. Now, at number 16, now pretty much every film here on out are films that I will give my highest grade, films I probably consider some of my all-time favorite animated movies or films in general. Yes. So anyways, coming in at number 16, we got my least favorite of those 100s. Yeah, all of those kind of obvious what my least favorite 100s, and that is Whisper of the Heart. I don't know what it is why this film is probably my least favorite of this more hundreds I gave, honestly. Maybe I could write something why I watch it, but Whisper of the Heart is still a fantastically beautiful movie. It's a little more simple than most Ghibli movies, but it's one that still hits a lot of the emotions, one that still has beautiful, breathtaking moments, and has a lot of the breathtaking animation that you expect from Ghibli. It's definitely a little more simple, doesn't have a lot to the story, but it definitely works in its favor and makes the film just a breathtaking, beautiful watch. Now coming in at 15, again, maybe not to put this low on the list, but again, like I said, this was the hardest thing I've done, like I mentioned, that is The Secret World of Arietti. I remember hearing a lot about this movie like when 2010 on, especially as it was always in the original melody that was sung on this movie. I remember always hearing a lot. And just so much just beautiful and real as I expected. And definitely a little more simpler movie, but has some great world building to it. Arietti is really compelling and interesting as a character. And just probably the most beautiful cut on my top 50 best movie characters of 2010s, honestly, because she was just a beautiful character. And a wonderful label as well. And the world building is great, the animation is great, the music is fantastic. It just really hits all the right notes. Now at number 14, we have the first ever game, Castle in the Sky. And this was the first ever distributed, first ever made movie. And what a debut of a studio this was. And you know, it's only number 14, so it's nothing like I can see myself growing on me more on peak viewings, because it's really that great of a movie. Again, excellent world, and its place world, you can expect just what's going down the road. Excellent world building, fantastic label characters, beautiful music, detailed animation, one that still holds up so well to this very freaking day. Moments that'll make you smile, laugh, and even make you cry. This film has all the right ingredients. And now we get to one of the more interesting movies at number 13, and that is Poco Roscoe. Of course, it's interesting because it involves someone who ends up being transformed into a pig, ends up being turned into a pig, and he drives a plane. Now, sure, obviously gets more interesting than that, but it's definitely one of these that I would recommend. Now I'm looking up too much, and so you won't get spoiled, but it's definitely a fascinating watch, and definitely one that really hits all the right notes, and somehow makes you feel emotional for this type of character. That had to be turned into a pig, which I thought was actually pretty interesting, and it did. It really looks very well. You can find out the usual praise that I mentioned in my previous few movies, and it hits all the right notes. Now at number 12, we have Grave of the Fireflies. I've always heard how emotionally impactful this movie is. I've always heard how much the movie really hits in terms of the emotion and how real and harrowing it can be to watch. And anyone kidding, man? Anyone kidding? This is one going to be the Ghibli I'm probably going to be watching the least, honestly, because again, it's a very hard to watch movie. It's a movie that doesn't really require one to rewatch it, and honestly, I'm not watching this movie because it's a movie that really hits the emotion. I feel very much hamper that emotion a bit, but the emotions really hits. It's amazing. The two lead characters are very well developed and work incredibly well with each other, and just as pretty much one of the most beautiful relationships in any Ghibli movie I've seen. The animation still holds up well today, and they use it to really add how much emotion, and that ending, wow. Now coming in at number 11, just members from top 10, we have only, oh yay, yesterday. Sorry, but only yesterday is number 11 on this list. Definitely one of the more real and relatable movies with one of the most interesting concepts, and something that just feels very simple on paper, but it ends up being so beautiful and emotional in execution. Never enough I think you probably just see for yourself, honestly, but it's definitely a film that really is emotional all the way through and has one of the most beautiful endings that Ghibli has done. Now in top 10 people, before I get to my top 10, again, as always, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more like this again. Feel free to let me know what are your favorite Ghibli movies down in the comment section down below. Let me know how much you think all of these movies down below. So coming in at number 10 on this list, we have Ponyo. And from that, I'm hearing a lot growing up, and it's one of the most adorable, cute, it's one of the most adorable movies you will ever see. It's filmed them just so sweet and lovely, but in the best possible way. It's one of those films that it's hard not to smile when you're watching it. And it made me that puts number 10, but again, the list was easy as it is, but Ponyo is still an amazing feel-good movie with beautiful animation, wonderful characters, great concepts, great world building, and moments that will just hit you like a ton of bricks. Now at number 9 on the list, we get to boys probably their most underappreciated movie. Because it feels like that I've never even heard of before I started watching Ghibli movies. This one I definitely never even heard of or mentioned. And that is My Neighbors the Optimus. Listen, I don't think I've seen anyone even mention this movie. And both Ghibli's movies, honestly. But it's probably easily the most funniest of Ghibli's movies out there. It really hits all the right notes. Again, a film that feels very simple and doesn't really have a lot of story to it. But it's really the characters and the unique animation is what makes this movie so unique and so just out there. It's will now make you laugh your ass off, but yeah, it still has the emotion, still has great relatable characters, but it is definitely really nails it with the humor. Again, it's probably this film ends up not because I don't really see it really mentioned as much, but it's definitely one that's actually be very underappreciated in terms of Ghibli's filmography. Now coming in number 8 and number 7, we got both the movies that were released in 2013. I said they want to include the both on one from entry. So coming at 8, we have The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, and number 7 we have The Wind Rises. Okay, both these movies released in 2013. And both are not going to be one of my favorite films that year. Probably my top 5, honestly. That's amazing. Tale of the Princess Kaguya film that really has grown on me more about, especially that Princess running away sequence that. Honestly, I probably would have put it in my top 50 best movie moments, honestly, the more I think about it. And probably seeing that Harry moment in the destruction moment in The Wind Rises, that's just both moments that probably would have been higher on my list if I were to redo it, but it's by that these films are beautiful, breathtaking, excellent voice acting, beautiful stories, beautiful animation, especially Princess Kaguya, who has some of the most beautiful animation you will ever see, and most unique as well. How it's handled, just both beautiful and just realistic and incredible movies all around. Now coming in number 6 on the list, we have When Money Was There. This was the last of the 4-year we're gonna hit, which is supposed to be gonna have another film coming out soon. So there's gonna be another film for Hayao Miyazaki. This was supposed to be his last movie. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be said a lot, honestly, but when Mario was there, beautiful movie. Just one of the more real movies on this list. One of the most relatable and emotional. Most especially with the character of Anna. Just chef's kiss. The animation is just breathtaking as hell. The voice acting is great. The music's amazing. So many incredible moments that just make you feel so much with these characters. Again, has everything that you want and amazing from a Ghibli movie. Now, top 5 people, and coming in 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, we have Kiki's Delivery Service. And from that kind of doesn't have the best story, or doesn't really have a lot of stories, but it's from that drives on with his characters, with his atmosphere, with the world building. And I've always heard how just lovable and amazing this film is, and it did not disappoint. It is truly a beautiful, lovely, and wonderful movie. And Kiki probably one of my favorite Ghibli characters out there. Just a kid that's so too lovable not to hate. Like, the film that just will make you smile, will make you feel so much emotion. It's definitely one of the most feel-good movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, honestly, the music is great, the voice acting is great. It's just a truly beautiful and lovable movie all around. Now, coming in number 4 on the list, we have Powell's Moving Castle. Another film I've always heard so many great things about. And just, it's worth every, obviously being up once, it's worth every bit of praise it has gotten. It's from like things to grab me the more I think about it. It's one that definitely has some atmosphere, I think I'll device some Ghibli fans for I looked up, but I think it honestly really worked for me as well. The relationships between all the characters, the storytelling, the atmosphere, the world building. I think it's all moving castle and all that stuff's pretty compelling and interesting. And so I can understand some of your criticism from certain aspects, especially with the ending. But honestly, I thought it actually really worked. I thought it added a lot more intrigue and ambiguous to the movie. I thought it really works. It has some of my favorite music in a Ghibli movie. Some of my favorite characters in a Ghibli movie. Just film that's just truly breathtaking and a huge spectacle. Now it's my top 3, which, as you can see, these are pretty much the classic Ghibli movies. I'm probably just 53 one entry because these films are considered to be the true classics in Ghibli's filmography. And for good reason. So let's get to them. Number three, we have The Amazing Princess Mononoke. Amazing atmosphere, incredible world building, amazing characters. If I'm not really definition of telling both sides and making both sides not feel wrong or right in any situation, and make you understanding where both sides are coming from here. Just a true and from that has great characters, like I mentioned, great music. Doesn't really feel like it's hammering down the message it's trying to go for. It actually feels natural here. It's just a wonderful, beautiful movie. Number 2, we have probably the most feel-good movie I've ever seen, and that is My Neighbor Totoro. Again, this is probably the most feel-good movie I have ever freaking seen. If I can't imagine I'm not feeling at least some sort of emotion while watching it. This film is truly the definition of a feel-good movie. Again, I never my voice had so many good things about it, and it's so worth it. It's definitely not see what it says just to film to be like very high up on Japanese filmography or animation in general, because it's really that great of a feel-good movie that just makes you just. It is truly that breathtaking movie. Again, not really the most interesting story, but the story is still great. The characters are great. Totoro is just wonderful. It's such adorable, lovable all the way through. And all said, my number 1 favorite Ghibli movie, and it's probably an obvious pick, but someone's being obvious for a reason. That is Spirited Away. I absolutely adore Spirited Away. This is why I would not put honestly my top 10 movies of all time. Honestly, it's that good of a movie. And it's actually not debating with The Lion King as my favorite animated film of all time. I am not joking. I don't know anyone else with The Lion King for me, but this movie is still kind of debating on. I'm still debating on it, which is pretty surprising actually. I think it's more fun thing. The more I watch it, the more I have an answer, and you definitely will know when I eventually do my best animated film list, which definitely I hope to do something like that one this year or at least down the road. But either way, like, do you need to mention why this film's amazing? I mean, this film's talked about to death so many times. I don't think I need to mention why it's not one. Everyone, the relatability, the world, the animation, the music, the storytelling here is just Ghibli at its finest. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed me finally doing my ranking of all Studio Ghibli movies. Let me know down in the section below how we're doing all the Ghibli's movies, and I did the reviews on all these movies if you want to check those out. Playlists that's on my channel. I'm Sarah Wolves and More Productions. Everything next time, as always, stay cool, everybody. Peace.